All right, chat
Thanks,
soon.
Clinton. Well, hello, everyone. This is Don Hilborn, and we'll be talking about the Unravel data platform today. I'll be walking you through a demo of that platform. If you can imagine what Unravel does for you, I like to draw an analogy between these devices that they have you can plug into your car, and it tells you all the times that you're driving aggressively or you've taken a corner too quickly, as well as it makes recommendations on how you can improve your driving. Well, that's a little bit of how Unravel works. Unravel installs these very lightweight agents into your data landscape. Those agents send data back to the application layer of Unravel, and it organizes that data and passes it through AI and ML algorithms to make recommendations for you ultimately on how you can drive better or operate your data landscape better. And of course, one of the areas that it looks at is cost, and that's what we're looking at right now. Is we're looking at some trends in cost in this fictional environment that I have pointed this to, a Databricks environment in this case. And so you'll see that I can look at cost by a given workspace. I also can look at it based on a range of data focusing in on particular days. But I also have the ability to look at cost other ways. I can look at cost from a chargeback perspective, where perhaps I'm looking at the users of the system, not just the workspaces. And I can see who's using the system the most. And if need be, I can actually drill into that individual user and look for opportunities to make optimizations where I can look at all the different tasks that they've run within Databricks in this case, and I can focus on, say, one of the jobs that they've run and actually go into that job and look for recommendations, what it's telling me that I should do to make this run better. And in this case, it's telling me that I have a bottleneck, which is a contended driver. And I also have potentially efficient issues as far as my sizing compared to the job that I'm running. Other ways that Unravel helps you control your environment, manage it, make sure that you're driving as efficiently as you can is through budgeting. So you're able to actually define budgets about or around your landscape and then monitor those on an ongoing basis. And in fact, here is another place where Unravel uses its AI ML capabilities to forecast or try to determine what your budget is ultimately going to be. So hopefully it can tell you before you've exceeded your budget by 987% that you're going to exceed your budget. And of course, the hope would be if it tells you enough in advance, you could actually go in and make changes. You could look for particular trends, or you could look for opportunities here again to optimize, where it takes you into a given set of tasks that have been run, a given set of jobs that have been run, and it allows you to drill into them and find recommendations potentially. So here again, we have another bottleneck. You also see that we have some very relevant data about the number of events that we're processing per batch. And in many cases, we can actually go look at the resources that are being used. We can look at the configuration that existed at the time that this particular job ran, and we can look at different aspects of that configuration, look for areas, again, where we might be able to make improvements. We also allow you to look at the actual compute that you're using, and we organize that into all of the jobs that have run, all the clusters that have stood up, or the jobs that have run, those that have finished, those that are running, but probably most important to you, those that we see as being inefficient. And again, we have an opportunity to go in here and it makes some tuning suggestions to us. So we drill down into that. We see we have a contended driver, and we also see that we have some opportunities to make our process run more efficiently. Another thing that Unravel does for you is it actually looks at how you're using your existing data stores, your tables, your blob storage. And probably most valuable is to determine whether or not your storage could be used or needs to be used as the most expensive hot storage, or could you use warm storage, or in some cases, even cold storage. So again, giving you an opportunity to optimize your overall environment, in this case, focusing on storage. There are certain reports that come with the platform, and then of course you can actually build out your own reports. One of the most popular ones is kind of the TopX report. So what are my greatest offenders? What applications are consuming the most of my resources? And being able to look at those or even schedule or rerun that report. Probably one of our most powerful aspects of the platform is this concept of auto actions. And here we're actually able to go in and based on an event from a job or from a cluster, we can take action. We can send an email. We can also make a REST API call. So we can potentially reconfigure a cluster. We can look at something that tells us that this cluster might not be sized properly, and we could make an AI call to decommission that cluster, reconfigure it, and then start that cluster up again, and then run the job on that cluster. Generally, most of our customers start out treading lightly here with emails, but as they grow more and more comfortable with the platform, they may build out some of those more advanced REST API calls. We also give you this ability to look at the insights in your system overall. So in this case, we'll go back to the most history that we have, which is in July, and then we'll come up to today to kind of look at the most current. And this really gives us a very high-level overview of the cost, the resource efficiency, and then the app usage that we're benefiting from. What are some areas where we, as Unravel, can make recommendations to you to improve your environment? And here we're seeing some of those where you can go in and you can, again, drill into certain areas, get into the particular job, and then ultimately drill down into some form of recommendation with some very detailed information about that particular run. That's a very high level overview of Unravel. There are other aspects of it that perhaps in another session we could drill into. We have this concept of our app store and something we call Unity apps, where applications can be incorporated within the platform. And then, of course, we have the ability to diagnose our platform as well to help you see how the resources that we're using, which is very minimal, less than 1% on any particular node that we're running on. But it also allows you potentially to connect to other workspaces and do analysis on those workspaces as well. So with that, I'll close out the demo and I'll turn it back to you, Clinton. Thank you.